the ultimate deck podcast. Need a show about outdoor living? This is where it's at with your hosts, Shane Chapman and Way Laurent. Thank you for tuning in. Now let the show begin. Yeah, the ultimate deck podcast. Let's go.
Welcome back to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Wade, Shane, and friends in the booth today. I've decided that we now need to redo the song at the start.
You know what?
And maybe even the whole name of the podcast.
I was thinking about this as these guys that had walked into the building and were like, I'm on like a 3-day rap kick. Typically I listen to country or metal. And then today they come up and I got the rap is going. And then this podcast music comes on and I'm like, these guys are going to think that we've lost their mind.
Yeah. And so you wanted my big speaker. You walked into my office. You're like, you got that big wall thumper speaker in here? Yeah. I was like, I do. You're like, I feel like to put on some music. And what you put on was the most gangster rap shit I've heard in a while. Like, there was some pretty strong language in that way. Yeah. This is an office space.
I think it was inspired by the other day. I don't know what I had on, but Warren G Regulator came on.
Oh yeah. Well, that one's good.
And then I clicked that and I was like, let's hear that playlist. And then, yeah, man, I got some good stuff from late 90s. One is like Cop Killer by end. You hear something is like got pretty violent there quickly. We're here with our friends George Karras and Lee Hotas. Did I get those right?
You got it.
Key account managers from Belgard, covering Manitoba and Saskatchewan, the number 1 and number 2 provinces in the country. The order to be debated later in this podcast.
And there may even be a football conversation that happens here.
Yeah, no thanks. Can we wait a couple years on that one until we fix some stuff in our world? You guys are with Belgard. You're in town because you guys have been running your Belgard University across the at least part of the country, and today was in Regina. So how'd that go?
It went great. We had over 40 contractors and dealers attend the event today, and like I was telling Wade earlier, very engaged group. It's awesome to be a part of an environment where there's people wanting to learn the new trends and what's new and exciting in the industry. So it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I think we had a blast. I think the nice thing too, I mean, you guys have probably been talking about decking all the time, so now it gives us a chance to talk a little bit about hardscaping, kind of sort of say what we say in the industry. That also goes along with decking and softscaping too, which is that fluffy green stuff, right, that we see along with it on it. But we just had a blast here and looking forward to it.
Yeah. I haven't told my wife yet. I haven't broke the news to her that she gets to hear about new things in the backyard now, because for the last 8 years, it's been solely decks. You want to hear about more deck stuff, babe? You want to hear the difference in composite? So now I got some new stuff to talk about with her. That's fantastic. And you guys were in Saskatoon on Tuesday. Did it up there. Same story.
Same story, yeah. We had just slightly more people. I think there was around 50 people. Same format, same engagement. It was awesome.
Yeah, we were all, I mean, definitely we're here to promote the industry of, you share outside with decking, we share outside with hardscaping. And that's the thing, right? We use the terminology live well outside now in our Oldcastle Belgard world. Yeah. And a combination of a lot of products that make us all want to get outside.
Yeah. And this is a fun relationship for us to embark upon as well, because we're in a transition period of we've always done decks. Obviously, it's right in our name. We've always done a little bit of fencing. We've always had the plan to get into the rest of the backyard, but we're like, let's really nail down our processes and figure ourselves out before we bite off too much. And now we're there, and Oldcastle, you guys are in every part of the yard as well. So it's like this really good synergy that we have.
Yeah, you know what's great is we feel the same way that you feel. Here we are, and we're installing hardscaping, and we're thinking, geez, wouldn't a deck look good? I mean, they each complement each other in terms of colors and textures and sizing too as well, and that's our format too in the hardscape world.
And use as well, right? So we have a lot of people that come in and we talk about, you walk off out of your patio doors of your house and the deck is higher up, and probably put a dining table on there because you're in and out of the house often and grabbing condiments and a couple more drinks. And then when it's time to lounge and be by a fire, it's like, get down onto the ground so your neighbors don't see you, right? And that's, there's so much connection between the two products, right? So
absolutely.
And you're starting to see, so before people wonder, what's this podcast about? It's going to be about absolutely nothing. It's just going to be about backyard Belgard chat with the guys from Belgard, right?
There was a TV show that was done about absolutely nothing. So you guys get it.
Seinfeld. He did fine, right?
You guys have got it.
Worked out okay. The contractors there's some out there that are starting to tackle the whole backyard as well, right? It used to be kind of like there was hardscape guys and there was deck guys and there was fence guys, and now you're seeing more and more, especially the guys that are maybe becoming more hitting that influencer status and more visibility, are tackling the whole backyard. And I think everybody's kind of watching that and being like, damn, like their projects look way cooler at the end than mine do, because I've built a deck in a backyard that's not finished and doesn't have a patio yet, and the grass is kind of old. But it's like when you can flip the entire backyard and start getting some imagery and some visuals from that, it's like your business looks top notch when you start taking care of the entire thing. Not just going in the house and painting the walls, but you're doing the flooring and the kitchen cabinets and everything, a full reno. Yeah. Pretty cool stuff. Yeah. I want to know a little bit. So it's kind of funny. Last night we were talking with John, marketing guy, right?
Yeah, you got it.
And he was mentioning, he's like, we were talking about the relationship with the CFL you guys have and whatnot, and how much some of that was like, how we're going to, because a lot of people that have been in the industry a long time remember Expo Crete, the name, like the formerly known as. And he was talking about like, it's really going to help us to kind of like to erase that history a little bit, or at least kind of like rebrand ourselves and whatever. And then it's funny, I saw today we got some invoices or something and then some emails, and the emails were still coming up, Expo Crete, whatever. Yeah, I was like, I got to call John and be like, hey, step one, change the email name. So that was kind of funny. But anyways, let's hear a little bit about the Belgard history though, because you guys have gone through some change over the last little while as well.
Yeah, and we're going through a transition called Opportunity Through Simplicity. We're trying to simplify our lineup and just make it easier to do business with us at the end of the day. So one of the main things we're working on is something called modularity. So making sure all our products fit together and having the ability to minimize cutting, create some really custom jobs that can work together now. And part of it is we're sizing our products in increments of 3 inches and having a standard thickness of our pavers too, which is 60 millimeter. Those two little things are playing in our favor in a big way and allowing jobs to be done in a simpler way, and creating some really amazing custom jobs that really don't cost a ton of extra money, but give a really good end product at the end of the day.
Yeah, that's true, George. What's really cool about the Belgard brand itself, and now available right throughout Canada too as well, is the Belgard brand has been around for over 20 years in terms of that. So Belgard itself is a North American-wide, so to say, brand. It's almost like you associate Kleenex with tissue, sort of the same way. So we're bringing those colors, styles, trends, all those great things that George is talking about, modularity to Western Canada through Oldcastle in terms of that. So basically, if you're into that California look, you go down to California and you see those products down there, you're going to see those same products here in Western Canada and transition around and make the same type of uses and decisions with those products that you see down there. In the end, it ends up to be styles that really have no limitations to them. The products mix and match and fit all together itself.
Yeah. Do you find that, I think I know the answer to this, but do you find that the tastes are very regional in your portfolio even? Do you find that certain products do really well in the northeastern U.S. and in Western Canada, that doesn't sell at all, it's this, and yeah?
They are, but they don't, so to say, and really, I think what's changing that now is social media. Exactly the same way of us talking here right now. There is so much exposure on social media right now to Instagram that you see, and someone sees a picture. They don't know where that actually is, unless there is something there, for instance, like a cactus in the background or a palm tree, so to say, right?
Probably not Regina.
But, but there you go. I mean, but take a look at items like tall grasses, boulders, sunsets. I mean, I think you have that here in Regina, right? You have some great sunsets here, right? Land of the
living skies.
Land of the living skies. You got it. I mean, those same images of tall grasses, boulders, and those colors, really everything. It's limitless.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the connection in the internet, where people are on Pinterest and they're seeing what's happening in Florida and they're seeing what's happening in California, is just like, well, I'd like that, right? And so having a company sort of be leading edge in Western Canada is amazing at that, because that's what people want. They see it, they walk into their dealers and they're like, I'd like this picture, right? Make that happen.
Yeah, we talked a little bit. So we talked about the brand itself being North American brand. However, being North America, all our research and development, or R&D, is done out of Montreal. which is really cool for all North America. So it actually starts out in Canada itself. And there is a reason for that. You think about original pavers, you think about Holland pavers that are out there, those came from Europe. Actually, Montreal, Quebec, that is a landing point of innovation that comes over from Europe and still does.
Certainly.
Yeah, and basically all your paver machines, all that technology, that's European.
Right.
That makes so much sense. Have you been to Quebec City before?
I have not. No.
Have either of you been there?
I have.
So, like, I remember walking around in Quebec City, and I felt very much like I was in France.
Yeah.
Right. It was like all the architecture in old Montreal or in Quebec City, like the core around the waterways and stuff, felt exactly like Paris.
Oh, I absolutely loved it. I think the most, probably the thing that sticks out to me is just taking a look at Google Maps when you're in Quebec City and it says, oh, it's about 350 meters away, but it's 350 meters uphill, tackling 10 sets of stairs, and then I'm there.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's funny.
It feels like your shins are bleeding.
I was reading or listening to something, and this is going to be a terrible story because I don't remember the most crucial parts of it, but because I don't remember the brand. I don't remember if it was like, doesn't matter. But the brand had adjusted their marketing strategy a few years ago, or like maybe a decade ago, to focus on what they considered the top 10 influential cities in the world. And that's where they're going to spend all of their marketing dollars and produce all their assets and everything else, because they know that aspirationally people want to, because what you said, the world's getting smaller. People see on social media. To relate it to this, people want their backyard to look like the vacation place that they go to. So they want their backyard to have touches of Phoenix in it, or touches of Los Angeles or something, right? And so it makes sense that people would be like aspiring to bring those California trends into their backyard a little bit, because this is supposed to be a getaway kind of thing. So it's interesting that it's like, let the major centers where the influence happens be the dictator of and like you're saying, manufactured in Montreal, but the trends might start in these major influential centers, and then they kind of bleed into. Yeah. I'm not going to try to even pretend that Regina's had any influence in the world trends in clothing or outdoor living or anything. Clothing, maybe parkas or something, but that makes sense that people it's becoming less regional.
Oh yeah, probably our largest, biggest industry trend that we had, or moment in industry, which was great for the backyard, unfortunately, was COVID. When it hit, it's forced everyone to stay at home. They couldn't travel, they couldn't go anywhere, so they upgraded or upscaled or made their dream backyard come true.
Yeah. Like round two, that wouldn't be the worst thing, hey, for us guys in this industry.
We loved, I mean, let's face it. We all love that, but not only did we love it, it inspired so much, because we talk about social media and people seeing, or customers seeing those pictures and wanting that. It made us better. Yeah. And it actually made us better as a company too, in terms of how we supply product, how we bring new products to market. It did a lot for us in terms of teaching that. And that's where George was going through with our opportunity through simplicity, making things more simple, by creating a huge opportunity for us.
Yeah. People are going to your backyard. They're like, this is fantastic back here. What are those plants over there? It's like, oh, those are my spike proteins. It's the spike plants, spike grass. Sorry. We did this in 2020. So it kind of rubbed off in here a little bit.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are you guys doing for products that are either kind of jumping on the trends that are coming or being trendsetters? What are some new products you guys are coming out with? And I know this is hard because there's no visual, but describe them for me.
Yeah, I'll lead in as George can talk about a new product, but really what we're kind of leading into now, and we're talking about the backyard, we're talking about decks, and we're talking about hardscapings, but we're also talking about carpentry, we're talking about water features, lighting, all those great things that come about it. Now we're talking about really about inspiration first is probably the best kind of type of product or service that we're bringing with ourselves. We have, if you're on the internet, you check out Belgard.com, we have on there our Belgard Rooms profile. That's on there, where it's basically taking the trends that are inside your house outside, or also taking where you take your whole home and you're dividing it into different rooms, right? You have your eating space, you have your living space, you have your entertaining space, your nice relaxation fireplace. So we think about the backyard in that exact sort of format. Mm-hmm. And so on that website, you will see hundreds of pictures, ideas, trends, colors, Belgard styles, of rooms that give inspiration for you.
That's-
And it is absolutely wonderful. We talk about that a lot today over the last few, I'm going to say months, at our Belgard universities with our contractors, and it's entirely an inspirational piece. If you could see that I want that fire pit over there that has a natural flagstone field paver down with a circular wall behind it, with a pergola that goes around it that has hanging basket chairs, who wouldn't want that?
Yeah.
And that's where the inspiration goes, and it's just maybe that first starting touch point where creativity happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, those Belgard rooms in that ideas book is so huge because people come in and, like, I'll be honest, not many people know exactly what they want. They have to see something, right?
Yeah.
Because when you just leave it to your imagination, it's completely limitless. So then people are like, well, I don't even know what I know. So do you have something? Do you have a kickoff point for me? Where should I start, right? Yeah. And if you can open up the book, and then people can be like, oh, love this, don't love this, want that, right? And it helps so much.
Yeah, we kind of go old school and we say, let the customer do a little bit of homework, get inspired, let them choose the trends and the colors that they want. They all know that already. Everything kind of took a leap of faith with Home and Garden Television years ago and all those great things that happened that you see out there. But I'm sure everyone can see it, this great catalog that all four of us are looking at here. But you got 130 pages plus that are in here.
Yeah.
My question is, how many pages are on the internet? Thousands and thousands, millions that
I'm
are
just
out there.
about
We
done
don't
it.
know.
I'll let you know. I'm just about at the end, I think. Dog chasing its tail. So it's just quite there.
You're actually right. So that's the future of where, the whole imagery is going to go, the whole catalog will go. It's going to go to social media and on the internet. So.
Yeah.
Well, I know even, we can segue into this, but our sales folks this morning went to your Belgard University. Wade and I dug into our roots and went back to be sales guys for a few hours this morning.
I actually didn't even blow it too bad today.
No. Yeah.
No, I had one error.
Yeah, not too bad. And I kind of enjoyed it. I think I might go back down there and do that again. But they brought back some catalogs they had, and you had your Art Forms book, which is a new product for you guys. And man, that book alone was super cool because there was so much imagery in there. I was like, I need to get these files, this imagery, so we can share it, because it's just like the art forms. Well, what are those slabs of concrete? But what you can do with them, that book is just like, oh, that's cool. Next page. Oh, that's really cool. Oh, that's really cool. And some people don't have, even myself, I consider myself to be a visual person, wouldn't have been able to get to all of the cool things you could do with that stuff. So to see that imagery is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. So art forms.
Yes.
Let's talk about that.
Well, art forms, like you said, it's a modular paneled system, and it's customizable to make whatever you want. It could be as simple as, a little seating wall or a planter box, all the way to a hybrid planter seating wall with privacy screens and pergolas and what have you. So pretty neat product. Like you said, Shane, there's a really good book that we have. So all you would need to do is find it on belgard.com or visit the store here. Look at the idea book and get inspired by what the potential is with that product.
Yeah,
I think the thing I liked the most about it was it's like a Lego set, right? So there's slabs, they're 18 by 36 slabs. Mm-hmm. And then they have a cap that goes over top if you're doing like a planter wall or a kitchen bar. But it shows you all the components. It's like, all right, if you're doing this planter box, you need these components and you need these pieces, like this hardware to put it together, and the pictures are all there. It's just like, well, how perfect is that, right? Yeah. As material costs continue to rise, you have to know that people are doing this as a DIY project more and more all the time, right? To try and retain a little equity in their home. Mm-hmm. And so being ahead of that is fantastic, right? So,
well, and cutting labor costs down for contractors is never not well received either.
Yeah, that's right.
But
even a contractor,
because that system, to your point earlier, you're talking about heading the direction of modularity. It's like, well, that obviously that was born from that strategy, right? Like it's very modular and very few number of SKUs. And that book was cool too, because it's like, to do this, you cut this brick to this size and you use these brackets here. Like you take the thinking out of it.
Yeah, I was going to say you're absolutely correct in terms of the way that it is a modular panel, and what everyone doesn't see or can't tell right now is that those panels bolt together. Mm-hmm. So you have a mortise and tenon on the back, and then you have a joining plate. It's all stainless steel hardware, and the panels are bolted together. So they're either bolted together horizontally, the 18-inch height, which gives you your bench or your planter height, or stood vertically 36 inches, which is your countertop height. And you mentioned the capping module. We take the capping module, we place it on top, and now we have 36 plus 6. We have 42. Now we have your favorite, a bar height.
Yeah.
Genius.
That's not maybe his favorite. That's my favorite, though.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Hey, I can drink a Diet Pepsi off that bar
Yeah,
top
you
just as
can.
easy
Yeah,
as you
you
drink a
can.
beer.
Yeah.
And I'll still be sitting up at it at the end of the
Yeah.
night.
I put a helmet on if I sit at a bar for too long. So
Yeah.
And the other cool thing, right, you're talking different colors too as well that can mix and match, that go together. And as George mentioned, there is always a project guide to it. But what we love most is people that are doing it without that project guide, coming up with their own their own projects, connecting them together.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to be careful of limitations of weights. The panels are 150 pounds, but when you talk about outdoor TV walls that are very large and that people are fastening their TVs to and doing really creative things with them, it's pretty cool to see that.
Yeah.
you like it until they phone you and they're like, I'm trying to do this crazy ass thing and I can't get it to work. And you're like, yeah, because it doesn't do that. That's not how it's supposed to go.
One of my favorite things is we always see a lot of landscape designs where everything's done on a 90-degree angle.
Yeah.
So we always like to see it a little bit different. We were talking about this with the contractors today, is start cutting things at 45-degree angles, making things a little bit different. Start thinking a little bit of what you actually, is different than what you've seen for years and years.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay.
Okay, and George,
else?
you're itching to go through some other new products you guys have. You're ready and open on the page.
I'm open. Yeah, the page is open. I'm ready. So there's a few. The one that's the first Belgard paver that's been launched North American wide all at once is called the Papyrus paver. It's based on our Dimensions 18 platform, but it's a 3-piece paver system. It's organically hand-tooled. It's got a very unique texture that we've never really seen in the industry before, and it really plays really well with the sunlight and the way the sun hits it and the shadow lines it creates. It's been very well received so far, like at industry shows that we've been a part of and validations with designers and contractors, and we're really excited about what this product will do and how it's going to be used in projects this year.
Yeah, I saw so we were down at International Builder Show in Vegas at the end of February, and the Old Castle booth had these there. And I got to be honest, when I first saw it, just in it was stood on a wall display, and it was only maybe they had a full 3-piece brick. I can't remember, or maybe I feel like it was just one brick.
Yeah, I feel like it was.
And I saw it and I was like, I'm not sure that I love it. And then when I saw you guys like Belgard post an actual project with it, and I was like, oh, it's one of those things you have to see in a larger scale. And then when you see it like that, like this book here, it looks awesome.
Yeah.
One brick didn't do it justice. You see it laid out and it's like, oh, actually that's really nice.
And you're so right, Shane. Like when I first saw it too, very underwhelming at first. But then when I saw it like with natural sunlight and how it plays with the sun, it was like, wow, like this is like mind-blowing nice.
Yeah, and maybe that's the trick. Like in the display, it was like bright fluorescent light directly above it, and the etch marks were like this way, so there wasn't any shadow play. It was just a brick with lines in it, but in real world, it looks pretty cool.
You know what I think is really cool? Like we're going to talk, and we're throwing things here, right? And talking about outdoor design trends that we see. When you probably saw that, even the term now that we're starting to use is outdoor flooring. That's one of the terms that we're starting to use with decking and hardscaping too as well, and how fabulous these products look. But a couple common trends, and we'll talk about new products. George's got a whack, a huge amount more of them here. Is what's inside your house is coming outside your house. We've talked about that for over a decade now, but really in the hardscape format, and you see that in the Papyrus, is a large format paver. So this is a larger paver. It's in terms of our modularity, it's a 3-piece unit. So you got a 9x18, 18x18, and an 18x27 unit. So you're talking over 100 pounds on that 18x27 unit. Don't let that scare you. I mean, the contractors are all engaged now, and that was part of our Belgard University that we were doing, and partnering with our partners that talk about pneumatic lift equipment and that they've got. That is definitely a necessary tool that's moving forward for these guys.
Yeah, awesome. What's next?
Yeah, what's next? The one that's my personal favorite that we're launching this year is called the Brooklyn paver. It looks like an old world clay type paver. It comes in a couple different colors. One called Rosewood, which is new for us, which is kind of like a brownish red color, and then Midnight. Very excited about this one. I think it's going to be a home run winner and something very unique that we haven't really seen here in Western Canada before.
Yeah, another one again where you see a picture of it installed and it's like that freaking, and the name is very apt as well because it's just like does give vibes of Brooklyn,
New York.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, it's very cool. What's the dimensions of that one?
That one again is in 3x9, so increments of 3 inches. Again, playing on that modularity play that I was talking about earlier.
Yeah, what's really cool about all these is that they're all 2 3/8 or 60 millimeters in thickness. That's the height of it. Previously, before Old World, I mean, we all had different thicknesses of pavers. Contractors were working very, very hard. I mean, the hardest thing that they do is dig and install base.
Yeah.
Now they get their base prep all done, and they're only worrying about one thickness of paver. So limitless design based on the designer. We all love designers. I mean, they're, before, I mean, really cut was a 4-letter word for contractors. Now we're trying to limit that, make everything as simple as possible and mix and match colors, textures, and sizes. And this Brooklyn paver is absolutely dynamite. And a lot of what we do or what the inspiration for these new products, it's the natural world that's out there. This product here is meant to definitely mimic a clay paver. Even in terms of the colors, you've got warmer colors now. You've got the new rosewood color that we see here, so to say. And over the last couple of years, we've seen a lot of grays and charcoals, which are still as popular as ever. But why not accent them?
Yeah, it's fun to see some red every once in a while, right? So and I like in this picture that you see, it has the black polymeric sand on it. It's just like so good.
Yeah.
It's sharp.
And going on the color theme that Lee was talking about, there's a new technology that we're focused on using, and it's called Durafusion, and it allows us to come out with some pretty innovative, vibrant colors that we haven't really typically seen with concrete products in the past.
Okay.
And it really creates a very nice, tight finish, and it's just dynamite, and I'm really excited to see how this is all going to evolve in the coming years.
Yeah, it's a technology that's designed to kind of allow the color to be a bit more vibrant and correct me if I'm wrong, but to stay like the color fastness of it's a little bit better than when you have the larger aggregate in it.
Absolutely.
So pretty cool technology.
So that's the Brooklyn. Again, there's another new one that we're launching called the Charleston. More of like an old world kind of paver, something you'd probably see in like old Montreal or old Quebec City. Yeah. And again, using Durafusion as our technology for the colors, but again, a very nice product. I got to see this firsthand at the Winnipeg Home and Garden Show a couple weeks ago, and it was just dynamite.
Yeah, you guys knocked it out of the park with that booth. I don't know if I told you guys this last night or not, but I told Shane that when I saw that booth, I legit considered driving there. I was like, I think I told Jesse, I was like, it's only 5.5 hours. Like, I should go see it. Like, we should actually, right? And I was like,
pretty impressive.
Yeah, it was unreal. So no seat sales, so I wasn't going to fly there, but
6 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah.
5.
Yeah. Depends how fast you drive, right? So
yeah, exactly. So those are kind of the three main products that we're highlighting for this year that we're really super excited about.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Pretty exciting stuff. And then so tell me a little bit about the porcelain stuff, because it's one that I don't understand as much, but you guys have some porcelain products as well.
So it's a very trending type of material to use outdoors. Obviously, it's something that we're all familiar with that's been used inside a home. And now it's transforming into outdoor rooms and outdoor applications. Really popular in the European market. It's starting to gain some really big popularity in the U.S. And now it's starting to really gain some steam here in Western Canada. This one picture here that I'm looking at, oddly enough, is from Saskatoon. It's on top of a rooftop and at the U of S Health Science Building.
Cool.
Again, the opportunities to use this are endless. It could be used on a rooftop application, or it could be used outside, in a patio or pool type of area. But it's got a lot of unique properties to it too. It's a very robust, durable material. It holds its color very well. It's salt resistant, which is really good. Like in our climate where we like to use a lot of ice melt in the wintertime, it's not really going to compromise the material in any kind of way. And it's grease resistant, so and stain resistant, so it can be used in outdoor, like eating or kitchen areas.
Yeah.
You know, when's the last time you've spilt grease or spilt a glass of wine? I'm sure that can happen every so often. So, this kind of material is perfect for those types of situations.
Awesome.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, this is definitely the best example of what is inside your house that can now come outside.
Yeah.
The other benefit of this, and it's really cool, this is only 3/4 of an inch thick.
Yeah.
This product itself. It's 2/3 the weight of what concrete is too as well, and that's a great benefit to the contractor that's there. George mentioned all those other great benefits of it being fade and stain resistant too as well. Its durability is unmatched. It's a man-made product, fired at, you know, plus thousands of degrees Fahrenheit or Celsius that we see, and just extremely durable and very, very long lasting.
Yeah, and that light, you know, being so much lighter works really well to get that onto rooftops, right? So you have a pedestal system, and so you can do, you know, rooftops on commercial buildings. And
well, the other piece to weight is it lets us now play with larger sizes easier.
Sure.
So the product itself, right, starts out at 24 by 24s, which is kind of almost your standard slab size that we see in the concrete world, but it lets us get larger even. So we got 24 by 48s, 2 by 4s, 30 by 30s. You know, large pool copings too as well that are bull-nosed out, and it just lets you do some really cool things.
And so like a 24 by 24 concrete slab, that's going to weigh what? 110, 120 pounds?
Yeah. Well, yeah, you're just probably about just under 100, might be 108.
Okay.
Right around
And then
there.
the porcelain tile, it's
Would
24.
be 2/3 of that.
Yeah.
So very, very light in terms
33
of that.
pounds.
And
That's 30
extremely durable.
33 pounds.
You're not lifting either of those with your back.
Nope.
No.
No, I got a new back. I'm all good. Yeah. I got like some dry needling done. I'm good to go.
Oh yeah, you're ready. So you could lift that 200
so-
pounds, no problem.
I
Yeah,
could
the
do
other,
the
the other
porcelain
cool
one.
things are the colors, right? You can how you make them look. As we flip, you know, we're flipping through a catalog here, and you see ones that look like natural wood. You see, for instance, the Glocal line that we have here that's meant to mimic concrete.
Yeah.
This is probably our biggest trend right now is that concrete
Yeah, I was
type
gonna
of
say
look
that-
that we have.
that looks like it would be
absolutely
hot.
fantastic. The other great thing about this, we see a lot of it used around pool applications too as well, is that the number one question is, will it be slippery? It's not slippery at all. It's actually has more traction than what concrete has on it. It doesn't wear off the same. It's got more durability to it, and it has to pass CSA test for slip resistance. So
Okay.
extremely durable.
And so is it also durable against chlorine? Because here we'd have a lot more chlorine pools than salt pools, right? Saltwater pools.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it doesn't.
So that's super
the other
good.
nice thing too, it doesn't absorb water.
Right.
Think about that. It doesn't absorb water.
Yeah.
Here we are in the freeze.
Neither do I.
Yeah, we're in the freeze thaw capital of the world right now.
How would you know? You never had a glass.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
What is there? So maintenance wise, between porcelain and your concrete pavers, what's the difference?
Again, yeah, like with porcelain, there's very minimal maintenance required. It's a very dense, durable material. With concrete, it's something that you should consider doing a little bit more, like with cleaning and sealing every so often, especially in our colder climate here. It's more important to do that. So, yeah, I would say porcelain, there's a lot of benefits, including on the maintenance side. It's a lot less.
Yeah, because that speaks to people nowadays. The less work they have to do later, the better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, awesome. So this is obviously a higher end product for like presumably it'll cost a little bit more than your traditional pavers. But you guys cover all price ranges. So did you have more? Sorry, do you want to keep going on that?
No, not at all.
No, we're just inspired by it. We love it.
Yeah, no, it looks. You turn the page and I was like, oh,
Oh, I like that one.
I like that one too.
Yeah.
So we're looking at the Silver Lake Mirage line and very unique blended colored
Yeah,
type of material. It's very unique.
Like that
very
one.
cool.
That one's from inside a house for sure.
100%. That's
Right.
the first thing I was thinking. I was like, that was drawn in from inside, drawn outside from inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess one thing too, George mentioned the Mirage name. That's the brand of the product that, you know, it's coming from the tile capital of the world. These are manufactured in Italy. So you've got some pretty nice stuff.
Yeah, no, beautiful. So on the other end of it, though, if somebody's looking for something a little bit more budget friendly, I'm I'm just looking for just your personal experiences. What are you selling them? What are you telling people like, hey, look at these ones if you're looking to save a little bit of money?
Yeah. So we have some legacy products that we've had around for a very long time, and one of them would be just our 4x8 Holland paver. It's a tried, tested, and true type of product. It's been around forever. Oddly enough, you can still do multiple types of patterns, like a herringbone or a basket weave or sailor course, or use it as a border accent, use it as a driveway paver. It could be a patio paver. Very, very versatile. Again, price point is very attractive, and it's a very durable product at the end of the day still.
Yeah. You've led me into my next question. So for driveways, what do you guys suggest? Like, you have different thicknesses of pavers for residential, commercial / driveway applications. What are your rules around that?
So there's a term in the industry called an aspect ratio. So it's like, what is it? Your length and your thickness
You got it.
gives you the ratio.
Okay.
It needs to be a bare minimum of 60 millimeters to meet those industry specs. Usually we recommend starting at around an 80 millimeter thick paver for a driveway, and it can even go up to 100 millimeters too, depending on the size of the paver that we're looking
Bigger
at
the
using.
paver, the thicker it needs to be, kind of thing.
100%.
Oh, you nailed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Cool. People are going to listen to this and be like, "Oh, sponsored episode." This is not a sponsored episode. They did not pay us any money.
Nope.
This is us learning on the fly. So we're new into hardscapes, and Belgard, we're an official authorized dealer, and we're super excited about this partnership. And so we wanted to. They were in town. And it's like, let's talk about this. We have to ask questions anyway. Let's do it live. So if you're wondering if they're pitching because they're sponsors, it's not.
Yeah, and I think that we're in the process of like sort of transforming into a whole backyard, and I believe we're like dragging some contractors along with us, right? Like, we will have some deck contractors right now they've listened to us talk about this for 4 or 5 weeks now, and they're like, you know what, like, maybe I should try it, right? And so they're learning at the same time. We'll certainly.
We've been talking about this for years. We've been on this podcast telling contractors that they should really start tackling the whole backyard. Do what the guys like Premium Outdoor Living is doing, and or you could just tackle the whole thing. It's like, but yet we're not positioned ourselves to even help those guys that we're trying to convert.
Yeah.
And so now we are. So it makes a bit more sense for us to talk about it. But
Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, training the contractors that we've gone through them all here in Saskatchewan, and they all want to be professionals, and they're all really, really looking for knowledge, just the same way that you two are right now.
Yeah.
And that's why customers come to someone like yourselves, just simply aspect ratio. What the heck is an aspect ratio, right? I mean, there's some value in that. I mean, the last thing we need is something that doesn't work right.
for sure. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, because you spend thousands, right? Like, you invest thousands of dollars into it, and then it doesn't work.
And then you got to tell the homeowners, like, well, that wasn't for that application.
Right.
The contractor buggered that up. Contractor's like, well, those guys told me I could use that for this.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, and not to scare anyone, that's happened.
Oh, 100%.
It does. It
Right?
happens all the
I
time.
mean, someone made a whole TV show about that. We all know that,
Yeah,
right?
that's right.
In terms of that, but it can be something as simple as you were describing polymeric sand. Is that installed correctly?
Yeah,
Little things like that.
absolutely. So yeah, we got a ton of learning to do, and we'll continue to like explore this on the podcast, because that's what we do. We're like, as we learn, we just share it, right? So
people in the industry are very, very familiar with the Belgard name. That's not going to be a surprise to anybody. But the average Joe who maybe hasn't shopped for their backyard quite yet, maybe doesn't. But they're going to get to know it a lot more because you guys have a partnership with the CFL as of a year ago.
That's right.
Been running now. So anybody who's watching football, which is like a good chunk of Canada, is going to see your guys' name quite prominently and consistently. So tell me a little bit more. I know you guys aren't the marketing guys behind that, but tell me a bit more about that partnership.
The partnership, like you said, Shane, started last year. It's our second year, actually going into our second year of a 3-year partnership with the CFL. But what we found out when we started our partnership is that the values that the CFL has, along with the values that we have as a company, are pretty similar. We also attract the same audience in respect to like families and hardworking middle income Canadians, and the viewership surprisingly here in Western Canada is very strong. So it just really made sense for us to partner up with the CFL.
Yeah, the interesting piece on that story is it actually originated the concept here in Regina.
Weird, eh?
Yeah, it is weird. For some reason, they sent a guy from Manitoba to Regina at the Grey Cup when it was here, and I was lucky enough to be that ambassador that got to get the full taste of what the CFL is about. And as George mentioned, there's so many similarities. We all have that passion. We have the same passion that they have, and we've had some great events with them, and we look forward to it. It's being a very, very long relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Seems like a good partnership.
I figured it must have been somebody from Winnipeg who got that idea because they were like, you know what, like our football team's not going to win the Grey Cup, so maybe like we could get a company and we could buy that. But had you just waited, your team would have been you would have been fine. You would just back to back to back to back. So
Yeah, that one here was a little bit tough for them, I recall. But
what's really neat, which I really love about the CFL, is the whole coast to coast part, right?
Yes.
I mean, the big event this year is the football game, and we'll be at that too. Our guys out there and girls will be at the football game out in Victoria.
Yeah.
Touchdown
I think
Pacific.
George and I are kind of like itching. Why aren't we able to go there? But
I'm jealous.
it is some really good, cool
yeah,
things.
and they did some. Did they do a game in Halifax last year?
yeah,
I
they've
believe,
bounced
right?
around
So
Touchdown Atlantic for a few years. It's bounced around to a couple spots, but this is the first year out on the West Coast. So it'd be nice if they could get a team out on the West Coast, or on the East Coast, sorry, at least to kind of make it a true coast to coast
yeah.
league. But 40 years and counting on that, working towards that. Maybe you guys can help. Maybe you guys, like, donate some brick to build the stadium or something. Anything else you guys want to talk about before we close this off?
No, very thankful for having us on this podcast. It's been pretty cool having just a conversation about what's new and exciting. Definitely new for myself, and I think for Lee, I think this is officially our first podcast.
That's the first one?
Yeah, I'd say the same thing. I'm kind of. I mean, really what I'm thinking now is, are we going to be invited back? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know
you did
how we
fine.
work,
Yeah.
if it's viewers or clicks or however.
Funny story.
We're having a great time.
The record button wasn't even on. This was just a trial run to see how you guys would do. And I think let's just go home now.
Yeah, no, you guys did great. You did better than I did on my first one. That's for sure. I was like breathing on the mic all heavy. Yeah.
I thought about that.
Yeah.
So we're excited about this partnership with Belgard. I think it's going to be fantastic. We're excited to get into the backyard, more of the backyard, and help with that. We're excited to have us and our people, our team here, become experts in this to help homeowners make those decisions. A lot of the we're learning from our contractors right now. Often, and for us, in the last 8 years, it's been the other way around. They come to us to learn about composite because we're nerding out on that. So this is part of our nerding out now as we become experts, so we can help them too. But right now, we're sponges to contractors walking in. And it's like, in my office now, I need to know everything you know. Spill it. Let's hear it. So we're hearing everything right now, and it's fun, making us feel young again because we haven't had a big expansion like this in quite a number of years, and we haven't talked to vendors that didn't know who we were before, and it's just all a little bit new for us, but we're excited for it. And I think I know that when we started out this path, we kind of identified a couple of vendors that we wanted to potentially explore relationships with, and we had those conversations, and we've landed with Belgard. And I can tell you that, from meeting more of you guys last night, I've met you a few times now, George, but meeting the rest of the team last night and how that conversation all went, it's like, you're my kind of people, and I'm really excited to explore this relationship and see where it goes and spend many more evenings together. So it's gonna be great.
The idea of we were going for dinner, we were gonna have steak dinners last night, and then you guys stopped in the afternoon. We start talking hockey games. It's well, if you want, we could just cancel the steak dinner and go to the brew house and watch hockey. It was absolutely. That's what I want. That's exactly what I want to do.
We called the right audible there, right? It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, well, thanks, George Lee, for contributing to our podcast as well. I'm sure people will hear about you again on this podcast at some point, but thanks for your time today. And like I said, really looking forward to sharing this partnership with the world. So
Let's go.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks, guys.
Hey, thank you for listening to the Ultimate Deck Podcast. Now you know what we're about. Check the site, come and shop. UltimateDeckShop.com. Hit us right away for sponsorships, or tell us if you want to collaborate. Let's go. Check us out on any social networks. Thank you for listening.